Arvern East is a development that runs from Beach 32nd Street to Beach 56th Street, and it's actually one of the largest and one of the last waterfront properties in New York City that has yet been undeveloped. And it was part of the Arvern Urban Renewal Plan, which happened, I think, back, I don't know, in the 50s, I believe, through slum clearance led by Robert Moses. So a lot of this area was originally bungalows, bungalow community, and it was cleared out. And up until now, nothing's really happened on this land. So there's a lot of opportunity, and I think it also is a good opportunity for the city, state, and federal government to come together and figure out what is the best use of this, especially given the situation with Storm Sandy.
There is a winner in the competition for innovative and affordable ideas on how to develop the Rockaway waterfront. Swedish architecture group White Architecture claimed top prize for a resilient Rockaway, also known as Far Rock Design Competition. Applicants submitted ideas on how to develop an 80-plus acre city-owned site called Arvern East into a mixed-use, mixed-income, sustainable, and storm-resilient community.
Development brings about the type of economics in this community that has been missing for years. Those projects that's going to create the type of revenues that returns back to this community is always a good thing.
I don't think every vacant lot should occupy a structure. Some need to be left just as is so that the residents can really enjoy what Mother Nature gives us. As well as when people come in, they'll see actually that these are the things that makes this area different from others. It's not necessarily these big apartment buildings. It's what God gave us.
Hello, welcome to Arvern by the Sea, New York's newest oceanfront award-winning hometown. Come take a tour with me. This is our oceanfront master plan community, which is comprised of 127 acres. So when we're finished, we will have a total of 2,300 homes.
Arvern by the Sea, I think, was overdeveloped. You no longer can see the ocean. Not only that, people can't even go to the beach there anymore because there's no parking. It's all private streets, so it's become this whole area where only the people that live there can really utilize the beach there.
My name is James Stanley. People call me Jim. My wife Sheila and I moved here from Reno, Nevada about 2 months ago. The sad point about this is that poor people can't afford to live here. This is a place where most of the places start from 400 to $1 million. These units right here on the beach, nearly on the beach, are going to be $1 million or more. So I don't know. I don't think I made $1 million all the time I was working for 45, 50 years.
I can tell you that out of the 467 homes that have been sold in Arvern by the Sea, 38 of them have been sold to Queens Community Board 14 residents, and I would imagine out of those 38, an even smaller percentage have been sold to folks living in the east side of the Rockaways. I think that tells you something about if this is something that the community views as being built for them or not.
My understanding is that the commercial area the ownership of the commercial area is being retained by the developer. That means that the developer owns all those stores and the businesses pay rent to the developer. So in my mind, that means that we're giving our public land to someone to just forever get rich off of. So I started making some inquiries into some attorneys that I knew who worked with land use issues, just asking them what's going on here. Is everything legit? You know, are they moving too fast? Does the community have some say in what's happening? And as a result of that, I got invited to a workshop at the Urban Justice Center, and I went, and it was a workshop it was really a presentation about community benefits agreements, and it was presented by two women from the Bronx, from the Northwest Bronx, who helped to develop and organize around and negotiate a community benefits agreement for the Kingsbridge Armory in their neighborhood, which is the biggest armory in the world. And big development plans are happening, and they really are amazing organizers, and got a signed CBA with the developers and got all sorts of great benefits for their communities.
That's been the battle cry for 13 years from residents who live near the Kingsbridge Armory. This week, the city announced that the well-known construction firm Related Companies won the bid to turn the Armory into a shopping mall. But community members of the Kingsbridge Armory Redevelopment Alliance say they will continue to have involvement in the plan.
We want to negotiate with Steve Ross, CEO of Related. Yes. We want him to sit down with Kara and negotiate with us, and so that we together can decide what is going to go into that armory.
CBA is a contract between a developer and directly with the community stakeholders that represent different organizations and different constituencies within a particular area where development is going to reside. And so that's the agreement. We'll support you. We won't go to the hearings and protest and do all of that if you agree to a series of benefits that we lay out, and that's where it is.
I was personally involved in the Kingsbridge Armory CBA. I think that I think that some of the most important lessons that were learned from that were developed over time. The coalition had been organizing for 17 years around the project. They knew what they wanted. They knew who they were. They knew who their constituents were, and they were able to build consensus and build community support for the campaign.
Yes, I'm doing door knocking for the CBA. Hopefully we can get some support.
Support?
Mm-hmm.
What support? Because you got some...
Because we want people to back us up. We want everybody to know that there's a CBA going on and to make sure that nobody gets missed out. So we're going to get off here.
Here. Okay.
All right, see you later.
Take care.
The campaign has been a lot of work, and it's consisted of different kinds of work also. So the community organizing piece is the biggest, I'd say, or most important. And that's just really grassroots organizing, going door to door, knocking on doors around the development site saying, you know, hey, do you know what's planned for down the block or across the street? This is what they're planning. What do you think? What do you think the community needs? Distributing flyers everywhere, hosting community meetings, about bi-weekly community meetings, where we would invite people and just tell them this is what a community benefits agreement is. These are the sort of things you can ask for. What do you think should be in it? And really polling people. And some clear priorities emerged. Number one being jobs. People need jobs. There's very little employment out here. There's a lot of low-income folks who are just, you know, don't have access to a lot of the services they need, the jobs they need. Transportation is difficult. So there's a real need for that. And then after that, people wanted to see community space that's available to them. People wanted to make sure whatever is built is super resilient after Sandy. Of course, that's in everybody's mind. The housing that's built, majority of people we speak to who come to our meetings want to make sure that's affordable and accessible to the people who live in the surrounding areas. Put the name Upward, which stands for United Peninsula Working to Attain Responsible Development. And pretty much hopefully that is exactly what it will do. We're engaging with different organizations, from faith-based organizations to non-for-profits. We're talking to PTAs, we're talking to tenants associations, anyone who has a stake in the community. And Rockaway Wildfire, we ultimately would like to hand the campaign over to a coalition of which we can be one member, but the whole coalition can decide on the terms.
I remember her saying, there's a group that you think is going to be in opposition, bring them in. That you need everybody in, because if they're not in, they're going to go around you, and that could be a problem. So that's where I wonder if you're right about looking into self-interest before we let them in the coalition. I don't know, from what Desiree told us, it was a different idea. Bring them all in.
Each personal groups are going to be asking for money. You have to be very, very careful how you do that, because then it goes right back into self-serving interests. Everything that we do has to come from outward. Everything.
Organizations that are working on it, particularly this one I was talking about.
To ensure that Ratner, like what Ratner did over there at Barclay, does not happen here.
Yes.
And then also what happened in Auburn by the Sea.
Yes.
Because there were a whole lot of promises with the politicians and whatever, and the politicians said they had our interests at heart, and they were going to be the advisory group, and they were the one that was going to look out for us, and lo and behold, we got looked out for.
Yes,
right down into the ocean. So what I'm basically saying, sir, I'm just saying we don't need, we need to take ownership ourselves, and we need to marshal this through.
However, you gotta have hope. Some of us will be able to still maintain. You know, but not everybody wants change. Not everybody, I've been fighting in this community for over 20 years, trying to heighten the awareness and conscious level of people to get them involved in blah, 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 blah. And they're still in the same boat. You understand? But so it's for those who want to do something in their lives.
This brings me back to days of movements. And probably the possibility of things dreamed of. So I'm in order.